crowd, horizon, and eye level. Why are these important and how are they related to each other? Today we'll unpack this. This video is really a continuation of the first video I did on crowd sketching or figure sketching or people sketching. You can click on the link above to get to that video. So in this video, I'm going to take you from Far East Square to East Coast Park and the West Coast food court to show you some of the example of why crowd, eye level and horizon matters. Here you can see the heads are all at the horizon line. And by drawing the line, you can see the heads hanging off like a washing line. And here, when the camera has been moved to the navel, the height of the navel, you will see the horizon is cutting across all the navel of the figures. And this is something that you need to be very familiar with. And of course, we don't go down to this level, but the camera is on the floor and you can see the horizon is actually cutting through the feet, if you like, almost from a it looks like you're looking at giants, and this is typically the different point of view. You can see the horizon and the feet cutting through all the horizon. Now we're moving over to East Coast Park, and I will show you in the same way, and then I'll do a demonstration on what I mean by horizon, crowd, and eye level. So now your eye level is at the eye level of the subject, and in the same way, when you look at the horizon line, it is cutting through across all, on the average, that is, the eye level. So if I draw the horizon line in a typical urban sketching sketch, be aware of the horizon line, I could basically hang the heads or the eye, just like a laundry washing line, if you like, different sizes of head shapes and size. Remember when you draw something like this, like a crowd, just make sure you don't distance the or space the head too regularly. Just make sure that they are of different distance. So I'm just simply drawing a figure hanging off the head on the horizon line, just like a washing line. And in the same way, the figure at the back, because it's a smaller head, obviously it is further, and so it's at the back. The bigger head will be in front, the smaller head will be at the back. It's kind of obvious, but just have to state it. And in the same way, you see the second, the trio on the right is in the same way you could do similar sort of creation of the crowd, forming the hands and the legs, but all ratio out pretty much the same way according to the size of the head. You could draw very small sort of figures, just like what I'm doing here, with the head hanging off the horizon line, and you could draw as many figures as you want and keep going if you like, and that just gives you a sense of the crowd. And you could see in any urban sketching, you don't really have to draw the details of the eyes and the ears, and at that distance you can't quite see anything. All you need is just a good figure, the shape of the figure. Now what I'm doing here is to tell you that the eye is at the horizon line, and that's because your own eye level is looking at the crowd at that level, and this is important for urban sketching. And now we're back to East Coast Park. As you can see, I've lowered the camera point of view to the navel, and as I draw the horizon line, you can see the navels are all in the center. So in the same way, if you are seated down when you are urban sketching and you need to be aware of the horizon. And instead of hanging the head, at the horizon, just like the previous example, I will now hang the navel. And if you do the navel, you would just I'm just putting down, in the same sense that the torso is being drawn first instead of the head. Different sizes torso, and you can see that they are basically drawn very roughly, and you can see from my previous tutorial, it's kind of like you can draw it with a blob if you like. And so now, using the same sort of ratio of a figure, the head, the torso, and the legs, and so on and so forth, all the figures are now, the navels are at the horizon line, if you like. And this is important because then your sketch will look accurate from a perspective. They will look, as real as possible, even though you're making it up in some ways. Same thing, you could put torso, head, hand, and they will look pretty much like a good crowd in urban sketching scenario. So I hope that helps. That's a little trick I'm passing on to you. I'm going back to the West Coast food court, and you could see that as I have my camera at the eye level, and when I move it down, you could see how the figures are moving where the navels are on the horizon line. Where before that, if I move my camera back up again, you will see that the heads are now hanging on the horizon line as I've demonstrated. So I hope that helps you in your own urban sketching journey, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, everybody.